good morning, good afternoon, good evening, dead of night for some of you. This is the Racing Sisters YouTube channel, and this is Grash with you with the live coverage for sprint qualifying for the Belgium Grand Prix. Um, Looked at decision documents from the FIA. There's nothing to talk about. No one did anything that required to go to the stewards. P1 is classified. Yeah, pretty much that's it. The only thing that's in the decision documents is the race director's event notes, and then new power unit element document. That's document number 11. The director's race notes. The first version was Doc 5. They got a new version out, V2, Doc 15. That's pretty much in there, so not much to talk about. I want to thank everyone who's here right now. And what's going on? Looking at Twitch chat, taking a look at YouTube chat. Ads are too loud. That's a YouTube thing, unfortunately. So, with this being the sprint qualifying, I believe they are required to use medium tires in SQ1, SQ2, and then SQ3. They're required to use a soft tire. Times are also much reduced. It's 12 minutes, I believe, in SQ1, 8 minutes, 10 minutes in SQ2, and then 8 minutes in SQ3. So, and point out, this is the 100th anniversary of Spa in F1. Who's saying that rain is equal to chaos? But I am a chaos goblin. Woo! It looks good. Don't get me wrong. They were predicting rain all weekend long, but it's sunny and bright out right now. No rain in sight for the track, and it's going to rubber in. So again, it did rain yesterday, so track evolution is going to be a play. We're about 45 seconds away before the start of qualifying. So on my stream, it's now 1 minute to go. So no one is out of the garage yet. It is not showing on the track as of yet. While we wait, I want to thank everyone who subscribed on YouTube. We did just break 143,000 subscribers on our way up to bigger and greater numbers. So thank you so much for those who are joining us. Those who have joined us on Twitch chat, thank you so much as well. And if you're on the likes and follows on Facebook, and I don't know what Twitch does. Unfortunately, I'm not able to use Twitch. It's complicated. Leave it. It's not a willful tech thing. It's a social thing that's complicated. And Green Pit is open, and SQ1 has started. Again, 12 minutes in SQ1, 10 minutes in SQ2, 8 minutes in SQ3. Max's own team. Yeah, and for the poll, Max is pretty much his own team. Waiting on Lando. Interesting. So I think one of the Isaac get out first. Algenberg will be second. Lawson then Borrello. So it'll be about a minute or so before We get our first start of the flying laps, and then it'll be another minute or so when we get our first times from Isaac, Hulkenberg, Lawson, Borlau. Haas is going to be coming out next. Okay, what you guys are saying in chat right now. Crash is at least 30%. Crash plus rain, 110%. With me, it's always a 5% chance. And if you know D&D well, 1 in 20 is 5%. It's a question over what is the chance for a red flag. Again, with me, it's always 5% minimum. Yeah, pit lane incident with Hulkenberg and Lawson, unsafe release. Didn't catch that on F1 TV, so hopefully they'll show that. It's not raining. It is pretty. It doesn't look like it's going to rain during this session, as of right now. Got cars coming out now. So Isaac is beginning of sector 2 right now. So we're going to see first times come in about a minute now. Red Bull and Aston are ready to come out now. They're the only ones who have not come out of the pits. Here comes Max and Yuki. So that would leave Aston Martin's the only one left in the pits. Here comes Isaac. He's coming around turn 17. He's getting the first driver who'll cross the line. Sainz is behind, but he's on an outlap. Hulkenberg is next. Coming to 17, 18, 19 now. That's a 142.711, and the Hulkenberg is a half second back. Lawson is 0.78 behind P2. Barlow goes to P2, 95 thousandths back on Isaac. Here comes the Haas's. They are the next ones to come out. And as been talking, Asmar did come out. They're at the end of sector 2 right now. Alcon goes to P3. Behrman comes to the line. Goes to P5. He's 0.232 back. Alcon's only 0.111 back. He had the fastest first sector, and Behrman had the fastest third sector. Isaac still has the fastest second sector. And Behrman time is going to be deleted for track limit, so that's going to drop him back into no times. Russell and Antonelli are next across the line. Russell goes top of the board, 142.650. Gasly ended up P7. Colapino goes P8. Antonelli goes P8 behind Colapino. Leclerc goes P3. Here comes Hamilton. Max is starting his flying lap. Hamilton goes P8. Notice starting his flying lap. Sykes finishing his lap. And that'll be Albin. Sykes goes P4. 126 back. Here comes Albin. He's going to go to P9. And who had gone off track? Antonelli's time is going to be deleted. He went off track. Norris on top of the board, 142.068. Then Oscar's going to take that from Norris to 0.299, so 0.3 faster. He's in the fastest second sector, 141.769. So one of the things about the track that we're talking a lot about FP1, is that how you set up the car is going to determine where you're going to pick up your time. And you can either go flying in Sector 1 and Sector 3, or you can go flying in Sector 2 the way the track is laid out. So here, Oscar going with the Sector 2 strategy, taking P1 on the board. Bird and Jack saying those McLarens have to be illegal. No, dude, they're not illegal. Max just went P2 with a 142.043. He's 274 behind Oscar. Soto goes P11. He's 141.143 back. And why? That's a good question. He was performing much better in FP1. We got 340 to go. Stroll just went P6 on the board. Right now, Hamilton's driver at risk. We've got Gasly, Colpano, Antonelli, Alonso, and Behrman. Behrman is in the pits right now, but he should be out in a moment. Again, he has no time set right now because his time was. He has no time set. Same as Antonelli. They don't have any time set because of track limits. Colpano is 2.1 off. Gasly 1.8 off, and Hamilton 1.6 off. Actually, Hamilton is dropped in the drop. So we got Hamilton in the drop zone. Albin is driver at risk. Alonso went P4 with the fastest third sector. Looking right now. Again, Albin right now with the driver at risk. He's P15. He's 1.48 back. Hulkenberg is 1.48, so it's 3,200 difference between those two. And then Tsunoda's P13 with 143. So everyone who's who's over a second at least probably will go out. I would probably include those who are 0.9 back, so Isaac. And then you'll get a couple more who are looking for bragging rights. 158 left to go. So Behrman's on pit out. Hulkenberg is pit out. We've got so we've got Max, we've got Oscar and Norris in the pits. I think they're the only ones who are going to stay into the pits. Here comes Tsunoda going over the line right now. I think this will be, he's starting the flying lap now. Stroll right now is, where's Stroll? Stroll's P7. He's starting what looks like could be a flying lap, though not a strong lap per se. It's okay. He does a 30 30.98. Yuki did a 30.027. I mean, they're within a tenth or so of Akon's fastest 29.9. It's a high 29.974. So Alonso taking fastest for a sector 29.955. So he's definitely cooking right now. 20 seconds to go. We've got a bottleneck as they're going around turn 18, 19 pretty slowly. Barlow gets across the line with a few seconds to spare. Here comes Sonoda. He's going to be the first one to set his final time in this session. Right now he's 13th. He moves up to 12th. Here comes Stroll. Stroll has not improved in his time in his sector times. He does not improve in his lap time. Here comes Leclerc. Leclerc also has not improved on his sector times. And Danelli's coming across. He is needing to set a time here. And Antonelli's going to not improve in his time at all. He does a 145.394. Same with Colapino, does not improve in his position. We got Alonso, Gasly, and Hamilton and Ocon in that order. Gasly's going to move up to 14th. I'm going to put Hulkenberg to 15th. Albon to 16th, Hamilton 17th, Coleman 18th. There's a yellow flag. And that is one of the Ferraris, look like. It's Hamilton. And Hamilton he's stopped. Yeah, Hamilton's going to be out. Hamilton spun. It's a matter of time for him to get back onto track. I think that might. Just trying to see. Is this going to freeze? I don't think so. Gasly's moved to 15th. We've got Albon 16, Hulkenberg 17, Hamilton 18, Colpino, and 20th. Lawson moves up to 12th. And I think that is going to be it. Yeah, that's going to be our SQ1. Yeah, Antonelli's got so our five dropped out. Five drivers are being knocked out as Albon, Hulkenberg, Hamilton, Colpino, and Antonelli. Wow, Hamilton just loses the back of the car. Yeah, yeah. Hamilton lost the back end of the car. Just a rare lockup. Wow. And Danley says he had no grip in his tires, so he is out. Again, he finished P20. He did not. So turn 17 involving Gasly and Tsunoda will investigate investigation and impeding. Yeah, Antonelli did not look good in practice per se. Also, his first lap. What is sprint qualifying? This is just basically qualifying that is going to take place for the sprint race that's going to be tomorrow morning. We will have another qualifying session tomorrow when we normally have qualifying for the Grand Prix itself. So unlike F2, F3, where they have one qualifying session, we have multiple qualifying sessions, one for the sprint race and one for the race itself. Yeah. So essentially, when you have a yellow flag means there's a hazard on track. A double yellow is supposed to emphasize that there is a significant hazard on track. So it's a another level of indicating the hazard that's on track. Watching it because I can't afford an F1 subscription. So glad you found it. Coffee. That's how I started watching F1. I mean, when I got into it seriously, I was watching these streams. And then jumped from these streams, finding a way to actually watch the sessions. I was on ESPN Plus for a while. Be honest with you, ESPN Plus was just the Sky Sports broadcast, and I wasn't happy with Sky Sports. And now that I've moved to F1 TV, there's actually a separate broadcast group that has Alex Jakes. Trying to think who else. Julian Palmer is part of that. Um one of the it's Brundle, but not Martin Brundle is its son. Does it as well, and it's actually I enjoy it more um, than Crofty and his crew. Hamilton DQ for cheating? No, no. Hamilton is knocked out. He didn't cheat. And when your TV channel streams the sprint, which channel is yours, Tomer? What's the number in the tire history next symbol means? Oh, that's the number of laps they used on that particular tire. There you got Kimi Antonelli at the interview station. You're in starting up, scrolling, scrolling. We're starting up our pre stuff for the sprint qualifying too. My God, words. My mouth can't use them right now. My apologies, everyone. 10 minutes are on the clock for SQ2. Because the yellow flag, Hamilton brought out the yellow flag. When SQ start, we're waiting. We're in a few minutes now before it starts. Over a Twitch chat, they think Oscar and Leclerc are the two people who had bids on them. Points. Oh, did Hamilton snap like that on a straight? He was about to brake and the car snapped. No gravel, no the brakes locked up on him. Specifically, his back brakes locked on him, which is rare. So, total eight drivers. Um, check the. I would ignore the SQ1 incidents with the eight drivers, the maximum delta time. Um, yeah, I've seen that waived. They noted they'll take a look at after the session, and then they basically waive off um, the delta time. 16:55 local time, so that's in 3 minutes for estimated SQ2 start. Here right now, low key, the FI can hack anyone's car. That's wild. Let's chat again. Hamilton is at the interview station right now, and we're about 15 seconds away from SQ2 starting. Again, 10 minutes on the clock. Pit lane is open, and we've just started SQ3. Let's take a look at anyone else. Yeah, the only after the minimum, the maximum delta time, AK going too slow. Except for those, the only thing that they have, they've got Gasly and Sonoda will investigate after the session. That's an impeding. And yeah, that's the only. They looked at Hulkenberg and Lawson, but no further investigation on that. So, so there's only one actual uh, incident that will be looked at by the stewards. Again, we've got only 10 minutes in the session. We've already gone. Where are we? We've got 8 minutes and 51 seconds to go in this session. So McLarens are out. They are likely going to get good clean air and do early banker laps. Again, we're looking at SQ2, so you don't need to be top of the board. You just need to be the top 10 to get into the next SQ3. You guys are talking in chat right now. Janice, do you expect cheating for Lewis? No, no. He's this. There's no. Ferrari brought upgrades to Spa, and something went wrong with the car, and Hamilton lost the back end of the car. And Hamilton was in the drop zone, so he didn't make it out of SQ1. So this is going to be interesting because Norris and Oscar are going to go. They're going to get a chance to do a banker lap early with literally clean air. Here we go. Norris and Oscar are on their essentially banker laps. The fact that no one else is out doing banker laps is hugely surprising, and so we'll see if this has any benefit for them at all. So Oscar right now has an advantage over his teammate. There we go. Max and Clerk Sonoda are coming out. And Oscar again taking sector 2. So he's 3/10 faster than his teammate after 2 sectors. Here comes Lando. He's about to come across the line. And he's going to do a 142, 182. Oscar could be in the 141s. Yeah, 141.736. Gap of 446 between the two. That's huge. Ooh. And that lap time will be deleted. Oscar's lap time has been deleted. Turn 4 lap. Turn 4. Oh. So Oscar's time does not count. So got Russell coming out, Stroll coming out. Looks like a good number of the field is moving now and is going to come out. Again, we've got 4 minutes left in this session. We had 10 minutes to go. Thank those of you who are in Twitch chat. It's still early right now. We've only got one time on the board, and that's Norris's time. Oscar's time was deleted. Again, cars are required to use a medium tire in SQ1, SQ2. They'll be required to use a soft tire in SQ3. So these times can tumble faster. Coffee, why do they leave the time? Because Oscar went off track. So if both of your tires go beyond the white line, you are now off the track. So I just want to make sure we understand what is the rule on that. Yeah, again, Cadillac has not officially announced any drivers. So right now, again, the leading candidates seem to be Valtteri and Checo. So comes Max. He goes top of the board, 141.583. Clerk comes in second, 0.203. Norris is now 0.6 back at P3. 1 minute and 43 seconds to go. Looking at Lawson, Alonso, Sainz, Borleo, Ocon, Behrman, Gasly, all on outlaps. See if, I don't know, Max has enough time to get around. So they're going P5, Oscar going P3 now. Borleo, PL, no, he's starting a flying lap. We've got 55 seconds left to go. Then we've only got Gasly. Yep, that we have. So Gasly is now doing his lap. Comes Norris. Norris is coming to 18:19. We've got 35 seconds left to go. So Norris and Russell look like we'll get across the line. Are they going to go again is the better question. Right now, Sainz is the driver at risk. Borleo, Ocon, Lawson, Behrman, Gasly. But it's also Alonso, Isaac, Stroll. All have not set times. So right now, on a flying lap, Isaac goes P3, 0.5 back. Lawson goes P5, 0.586 back. He splits Oscar and Norris. So Max is going to pit. So time is up. So these are now, Sainz goes P3. Here comes Tsunoda. Clerk pit. Ocon goes to P3. Here comes Behrman. Behrman has not set a time yet. Behrman goes P4. Here comes Tsunoda. He's in the drop zone. He goes up to P10, driver at risk now. Because Bartolell is P14. Bartolell goes to 4th. He drops Tsunoda. Tsunoda's out. Russell's out. Alonso out. Stroll's out. The last one who's still alive right now is Gasly and Norris. Gasly's the driver at risk. Norris driver at risk. So Gasly goes P9. Lawson's driver at risk. Here comes Norris. And here comes Norris. Norris is in the drop zone. And Norris goes top of the board. That will drop Lawson into the drop zone. So Lawson, Sonoda, Russell, Alonso, Stroll will all be knocked out in Trent Q2. Yeah, Oscar basically survives. Norris survives by going top of the board. Russell's out. So Mercedes out of the sprint. Aston Martin out of the sprint. Who else is out of the sprint? This is weird. We got Hulkenberg's out. Bortolo's is still in. We've got Norris, Verstappen, Leclerc, Ocon, Bortolo, Gasly, Behrman. So both of the Haas's, Sainz, Isaac, and Oscar. So both of the only two teams is basically it's the two McLarens and the two Haas's are getting into Q3. And we got one from Red Bull, one from Ferrari, one from Stake, one from Alpine, one from Williams, and one from the Racing Bulls as well. Disaster for Mercedes. Yes, this is definitely a disaster. It's not a full disaster. All right, it is the sprint. The thing about the sprint, it's only 15 laps. You are only gaining 8 points if you're in P1, down to 1 point for P8. Russell would have to make up 5 places to get into the points. It's not a complete disaster, but it's not a good start. What happened to Lewis? Lewis lost the back end of his car. His back brakes locked up, which is unusual, and he spun out into the chicane. And that he didn't have a good banker lap to start with, so he just didn't have a time to get through. It's not that bad, honestly. No, we're talking about what's it, 39 thousandths difference between Oscar and Lawson right now. You get points for the sprint race, not for the qualification. Just want to clarify. Why yellow? They might be doing something. I would ignore the yellows after a session because there's no one actually on track. Again, the points are only earned from P1 through P8 in the sprint. So there's 8 points for P1, going down a point down to P8, which only gets 1 point. Yeah, full rookies in Q3. We got us, Bortolao beating Hulkenberg. We've got who else is interesting? Isaac beating Lawson already. Behrman's in there. Oh, Gasly. No, only 3 rookies. Bortolao, Gasly, and Isaac. They must be doing something on the track right now. They must be testing something on the track. That's the only reason why I would see a yellow flag pop up at this point. Yeah, with the again, we're between Q2 and Q3 right now. So they're delaying the start of SQ3 for boarding, said to Lando. Oh, that's interesting. I know, Lou, you've put out several of the drivers. A lot of them are being investigated for maximum delta time, aka going too slow. Um, be quite honest, they're probably going to waive those all off after the session is done, after SQ3, after qualifying is done. That's how they've been, the race control has been operating this year. No, not 0.41. You're looking at, oh, it is 0.41. I did the math wrong. I went 2,000 in the wrong direction. So it's 41 thousandths. Yeah, SQ1 has ended. We're now waiting for SQ3. Double yellow on track sector 14. So Stuart's saying that Russell, Stroll, Isaac, Lawson, Sonoda, maximum delta time, they will probably waive those off later on. Still waiting. They said something about boarding on land. You can look on the screen. They're delaying the start SQ for boarding. Something's going on track. So track is clear now. We're just waiting for. I don't know what's boarding. That's just something that I can see on Lando's radio right now. That's what the term they're using. And it will be 8 minutes in SQ3, and they'll be required to use soft tires. Now the problem is with 8 minutes. In theory, if you go out right away, you could do a lap, come back in, and then do another lap. Can someone tell why the quality being held like this right now? This is setting the grid for tomorrow morning's. Um, so we got about 3 minutes before SQ3 starts. 2 minutes and 40 seconds actually. So this is the qualifying for the sprint race tomorrow. We will have another qualifying session tomorrow for the Grand Prix itself. So thank you, Scuba. I did not know that was the term, what the boarding meant. Thank you so much. So again, boarding means that what he's saying is they're making sure the track is good and the broadcast is good. Okay, so part of what they're saying on F1 TV is that there was a lot of gravel on track and they were cleaning that off. Hugh, I still believe Max has a chance at the World Drivers' Champion. Honestly, yes, he still has a mathematical chance to win the championship. Like he's gonna have to like win several races to bring in that gap from I think he's P3 to get into P1. Is it raining for the GP? Potentially raining for the GP. Under 1 minute to go before SQ3 start. Again, 8 minutes on the clock. Required to use the red soft tires, which is the C4 compound this weekend. Being asked in Twitch chat, do you speak French? I do not speak French. I can read a little bit of French. Basically a kindergarten level of French reading. Lou, I don't know where you're getting the information on a yellow flag infringement. There's nothing in the race control notes about a yellow flag infringement. If Max wins his champion, it'd be like Prost. Yeah, it would be a massive. If to Max to win this championship would be a massive turn of events for him to win. And we have started. We have started SQ3. We've already gone a minute into the session. So, given the amount of time that's left in the amount of time that we have left with 8 minutes, basically they're going to go and do one lap wonders. So we're not going to see them come out for another 2 minutes at least. Yeah, Races right now is pointing out that we'll be race for the sprint race tomorrow as well. Again, we're here live for every session, whether it's the sprint race, um, quali sessions, Grand Prix, practices. We were actually even live for the preseason testing, and we'll be live for preseason testing next year as well. Yeah, no one's coming out yet. That we expect another minute to go before we see someone come out. Why they don't stop? Because there's really not enough time to do 2 laps with 8 minutes on the clock. So they're basically gonna go out and basically do one lap. And it's a first penguin type scenario. First one who goes out, then will be a flood of cars coming out. 5 minutes to go, actually 4 minutes and 45 seconds left to go. How did Lewis get knocked out? He spun. He didn't have a great time. He was in the drop zone already, and then he spun on his lap. There was an issue with the back end of his car, and his rear brakes locked up. What happened to Antonelli and George? Antonelli just didn't have a good lap. His first lap was dropped because of track limits, and then he didn't have a good lap at all. Oscar saying hello on radio. What happened to George? George just didn't have a great lap and was just knocked out. Mercedes didn't look great in FP1. Let's put it that way. So this is just it's not a great weekend so far for Mercedes. Norris is going to go out first, and then Max. Oscar's going to be third. Be interesting if they go around twice. Clerk fourth. Ocon is going to come out fifth. Do all the No, there's Louis in chat is talking about yellow flag infringements. There are no yellow flag infringements. What's on the books right now for the stewards is like 6 drivers for going too slow, maximum delta time. They're going to waive that off because that's how that's been operating. The only other thing is there's an impeding, I believe, between Sonoda and Lawson, I believe. That will be taken up after the qualification session by the stewards. So the order right now coming out of the pits was Norris, Verstappen, Oscar, Leclerc, Sainz, Ocon, Behrman, Gasly, Borrell, and then Isaac. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oops, not out. Nope, they're all out. So that is the order. So there's 2 minutes left to go. Here comes Norris. I think he's going to go. He's got clean air. Max will be the second across the line. Life is so hard for our friends. No, don't be like that, Norella. You got Leclerc. So Norris does a 30.1 in Sector 1. Comes Max. And he goes at 29.869. Within a tenth of Ocon's fastest Sector 1 that he set previously. Aston brings downgrades into. I'm sorry, man. I don't know what to say about Aston Martin. They just went out in Q2. So Norris did a 40.021 in Sector 2. Here comes Max. Leclerc did a 30.015 Sector 1. Ocon got the fastest first sector, 29.784. That's actually faster than his previous Sector 1. So Norris is, again, starting at the top of the board, 141.12. Here comes Max. Max is improving all the sector times, but not fastest. And Max goes top of the board. So Max on 40.987 provisional pole. Here comes Oscar. Oscar has had the fastest second sector. Comes across the line. He goes top of the board, 140.5, 0.477 gap. So Oscar right now on provisional pole. Clerk is coming to the line. He goes P4. Here comes Science. 9. He goes P5. Here comes Akon and Behrman. It's going to be interesting. Akon goes P5. Here comes Behrman to the line. He goes P7. Again, Oscar still on provisional pole. We've got Gasly, Borleo, and Isaac. So here comes Gasly. He's going to be first. He's at turn 17. Borleo coming to turn 17. Gasly to turn 18, 19. Gasly at Isaac at 16. Here comes Gasly to the line. He goes P8. Borleo. He's got a good lap. He goes P9. Here comes Isaac. Isaac is not having not a great lap. He's going to go P9. So we have just finished our qualifying. So Isaac, so basically Oscar's gone P1, Max is P2, Norris is P3, Leclerc is P4, Ocon is P5, Sainz is P6, Behrman P7, Gas P8. These are the first 8 drivers who will be in the points when we start the race. Isaac is P9, Barlow P10, Lawson P11, Tsunoda P12, Russell P13, Alonso 14th, Stroll 15th, Albon is 16th, Hulkenberg is 17th, Hamilton is 18th, Colpino is 19th, and Antonelli 20th. And that's going to be the grid right now as it stands. Now, there is... they haven't updated the decision documents yet. Look. So again, there is an incident between Gasly and Tsunoda. I may have gotten those two the drivers wrong previously. My apologies. So that will be investigated. That's an impeding investigation that will take place. Then we have SQ1 incidents involving cars, Gasly, Russell, Antonelli, Tsunoda, Sainz, Isaac, and Albon. That's the maximum delta time. I don't expect anything else to come from that. Those have usually been waived off by the stewards. And then SQ2, we had Russell, Stroll, Isaac again, Lawson, Tsunoda, again, maximum delta time. I suspect that will be waived off as usual. I don't see anything else in terms. Yeah, the only thing that we need to take a look at is the Gasly and Tsunoda impeding incident. So, but I'll have that information for you tomorrow when we come to the sprint race. Now, I want to thank everyone who's came today for qualifications. We had over 2,000 of you watching today on YouTube. A good number of you here in Twitch chat. If you are on TikTok, Facebook Live, or another platform, or watching this after the fact, we thank you for choosing to watch this with us. This has been Grash again. I will be back tomorrow for the sprint race. Again, 15 laps. No, it's 15 laps, and there's no required pit stop for the sprint race. So we'll see where we go. For everyone here at the Racing Statistics channel, again, Oscar's on pole for the sprint, Max is second, Norris is third, Leclerc fourth. We will see you tomorrow for the sprint race. Take care, everyone, and we will have a fun time tomorrow. Take care.